Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Oral Exposure. We're doing things a little bit differently tonight, but first I want to introduce us. If you haven't caught us yet already, this is I am Wes, and this is my co-host X.
How you doing? I think guys.
How are you tonight, X?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Just same old day, a Monday. Long day at work. So I need some like D&D to kind of unwind a little bit, relax a little bit.
Yeah,
You know how it is.
and we're gonna
How's
do.
your day, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. And yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Tonight we're gonna do something a little bit different. And I'm gonna teach X how to make a D&D character, specifically on D&D Beyond. So.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm going to narrow the options down a little bit just so it's not completely overwhelming, but I think we're in for a fun time. So,
I'm a smart lad. I can keep up.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Do you
Watch
have
me
any?
be completely lost.
Do you have any ideas on what you might want to create?
Here's the thing, and I have to explain this real quick, is that like I'm a pretty boring player of role playing. I pretty much will put myself into the campaign. So my character is always usually like a human person of something, like usually very similar to me. And like a lot of people will try to do fantasy characters like elves and things like that. But like the fun thing about me when I play games of role playing is that I want to imagine me like as myself in that like fantastical environment. So probably going to be a human. What about you, Wes? Like you're going to create one tonight too, as well, right?
I have never played a human in this game, but that's not to say that human characters can't be interesting. I have a friend who
Mm-hmm.
plays human characters quite often. I have actually a couple
Mm-hmm.
friends that do it, and they always make
Ah,
fascinating characters regardless. So,
very nice,
race
very
and
nice.
class choice are not exactly something that are like a precursor to making a good character. However,
You
I
hear that,
enjoy.
society? Do you hear that, society? Race is not a precursor to me. I'm just kidding. Keep going. I had to. That
No,
was too
damn it,
good, man.
we're doing D&D. I don't want to get political on this episode.
I'm just kidding. It's too
uh,
BC right now. I have to. Continue.
Anyway, no, I'm gonna be creating a character alongside X. So I'll be teaching him how to do it as well as creating a character myself, and mine will probably be a little bit more or a lot less like myself, but that's the way I like to do things. So you'll see two different,
Mhm.
very various play styles tonight, I guess, or at least character creation styles. So,
All right.
without
I'm
further,
excited.
yeah, I think it should be fun. So
Yeah.
without further ado, let's get this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
let's
It's just that's a funny word to me. I'm, okay, Wes.
let's get this thing going.
Say what you need to say. I keep interrupting you. It's very bad
No,
habit.
it's all right.
Let's get without much further ado. That's a
All right,
reference to something. Without further ado, let's get this started.
all right. So here we are at the very
All
first
right.
screen. We're not going to worry about too much about this unless you are for sure knowing what your character's name is going to be right away.
Can it just be X?
It could just be X if you really want it to. It's entirely up to you.
Cool. Because I already made it, and his character name is X, but there's two underscores before and two underscores after it. So
Yeah,
it's like
you
an
can just
underline.
leave it like that if
Yeah.
you want. The character name
Hell
should
yeah.
come last, in my opinion, anyway. All right.
Okay. All right.
So we're actually going to skip number one, race, and we're going to go straight to class because I think this is a good way to really figure out what you want so you can decide on what kind of like
Cool.
racial benefits you want according to the class. So we
All right.
have
All right.
all of our options here. We have barbarian, which our
Mhm.
friend Sam, because we got to have our Sam quota, constantly
Exactly.
plays, and Sam really loves playing barbarians. Both campaigns I've run him in,
Uh-huh.
he's played a straight orc, not half orc, but a straight orc,
Uh-huh.
and he's played
Straight
a
orc,
couple.
like not a gay one, but like he's into female orcs of his species.
I
Or
actually
is
don't
he?
think
Or
he's
is he?
had a sexual. I don't think we've expressed a sexual preference for either of them yet, so we'll figure that out later. But barbarians are
Cool.
big dudes with axes or great swords, and they're really good tanks, and they like to beat things up. They're really good attackers. They also can rage,
All
which is
right.
really cool, which helps them soak up
Uh,
damage and do more stuff.
right. What's your favorite, man? What's your go-to like role,
My
and why?
go-to, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of go through each one of them here just briefly, just to help you decide.
Okay.
And when we get to my favorite, I'll let you know.
Oh, I know what I'm mostly gonna decide, and I'll probably ask you this question like after you explain all these guys. But yeah,
Okay,
go ahead, man.
well, what are you thinking of playing? What's grabbing your eye? We'll just do it that way.
So like I keep changing in classes and roles. Like sometimes I'll prefer like things more towards barbarian, like punchy, but other times like I'll play a game and I find a really cool role. I'm like, oh, I want to be that next time. So
Mhm.
now I'm actually partial towards people who like use melee weapons, but are also like privy to magic, like magic and melee weapon. Not a pure mage, because I don't know why I don't like the concept of that, but I like someone who can fight like up close, but also have like some projectile weapons. Just kind of a versatile fighter. You know what I mean? Is there anything like
Gotcha.
similar to that? Yeah,
Um, well,
sort of like everything, pretty much.
so you
Yeah.
want to kind of do a jack of all trades sort of thing, in a way?
Yeah. Well, mostly just like swords and magic. Like the combination of those two, I think, is really good.
A
I've recently
combination of
played a
those two?
game where, yeah, where there's this role called, I think it was called Blade Dance or something like that. Basically, you have like a sword, and then but like you're also privy in magic, and it's really cool. Yeah,
Well,
something like
there's a
that would be
couple
great.
of different ways you can go about doing that. One, there's
Mhm.
the hybrid classes, which are like
Ooh,
paladin and rangers, which both are
nice.
really good fight. Both paladins and rangers are both really good fighters.
Hmm.
But they have some magical spells as well. Paladin's probably a little bit better at the actual fighting bit, in my opinion.
Hmm.
You can
Hmm.
also do certain subclasses. We have there. If you make an elf character, you can play something called I think it's a blade singer,
Yeah,
wizard, which is pretty
that
cool.
sounds cool. That sounds really cool. But you
Um,
can only be an elf and be a blade
yeah,
singer.
a racial restriction, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So you have to play an elf. But it's a
yeah.
really cool subclass for a wizard. There's also
Uh-huh.
warlock, which is kind of like you have a pact with an otherworldly entity,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you basically get certain powers from that entity. But one of the ways you can play it is this thing called a hex blade, where your patron or your otherworldly entity basically
Right.
gives you a magical weapon of some kind, and you can go and hit things with that. Plus, you can cast spells, and warlocks are pretty cool in that way.
Ooh,
Um,
that's pretty awesome. Our friend Fox the Windowlaker said 3 times, very vehemently, human fighter. So I guess our friend has similar interests than me, because I, for the longest time, just played human fighter, and
yeah,
our friend MP6 has commented gnome barbarian. So
gnome.
wow, that's
I love the idea of a gnome barbarian. I actually want to have the idea of making a halfling barbarian at some point.
Wait,
Um,
I'm just imagining like this tiny little guy being really angry and mad, just screaming and like wielding axes, but no one takes him seriously because every time he gets like really angry, he sounds like a pygmy, like
that's base.
"Wah,
That's
my
basically
rage,"
it.
like a
My.
midget Wolverine.
That's basically it. Gnomes are
Mm,
very very tiny.
mm.
Um, okay,
But now
yeah.
we're done.
Honestly, the fact that Fox the Windowlicker said human fighter is kind of funny because
Three
that's kind,
times, three
yeah,
times, yeah.
that's kind of like the go-to like boring and basic option for D&D, but you can absolutely make a
Hmm.
human fighter interesting and fun.
All right.
So
Fox West just threw some shade to you. He said you are boring and you're basic.
yeah,
So refute.
I
Refute.
sure did. This is the way to get viewers is to insult any one viewer you get.
Yo, let's do a roast, man. Let's
Yeah.
do a roast. Yeah, what you got, Fox? I'm just kidding. All right.
Here's another one you can play.
Ooh, okay.
You can play something called a Blood Hunter, which they don't
Ooh,
have a whole lot of spells, but they do have a
that's
subclass that is very Witcher-like, and that's pretty
uh-huh.
cool. But
That's
they
cool.
basically use their own blood and they use like curses to go and
Oh,
hurt things and attack things that way. It's really pretty
so
cool.
like, wow, like emos, right?
Yeah,
They gotta cut themselves using blood and just smear around their.
yeah. But
I
by
got a
the
little problem like cutting myself. You know, that's I'm just not a fan of like injuring myself and like using blood to do stuff. Because what if it gets infected? You know, like I'm always having to bandage myself. Blade, that does sound really cool. I gotta admit, Blood Hunter sounds cool as
it is
hell.
pretty cool.
It's like vampire, but they don't want to say vampire because like Twilight ruined the whole like vampire community they got now. They're just shiny and not scary, and they're just like perfect boyfriends. But yeah, actually, just because I'm Asian, I want to ask about the monk. Actually,
So
how's
what you said earlier
wow,
about being kind of like a fighter type with having some magical abilities, you can
yeah,
pretty much do that with most of these classes because most of these classes have
really,
some sort of subclass that
uh,
supports you doing both. Um,
interesting.
but it depends on what you pick. The monk has some cool ones that give you some spells. I actually have a friend in a campaign right now who is playing a blind monk and he's a 4 elements monk, so he actually gets to use certain elemental magical abilities, which is really
It's like
cool.
Aang, the handy
Yeah,
capable
it's
avatar.
basically if you want to be the avatar, you pick that subclass of monk. By the way, really quick, I want to
Uh,
say that we'll be making our characters at level 3, just so you can pick a cool subclass.
Ooh, very
So
nice,
yeah,
very nice.
so
I'm
but
down
we'll
with
get
that.
to that when we pick our actual class.
Mhm. Okay, I'm still deciding on my class, but Wes, what are you thinking?
Um, let's see. What if I not made a lot of that would be pretty fun to make?
Hmm. Well,
Um,
what's your play style? Is it melee weapons
I
or is it more
so so
magical?
so my playstyle is I've discovered very much. I really like being the support in these kind of
Ooh,
games. I really revel in being the healer in some way. I'm playing
nice.
I think I mentioned during the den that I'm playing a Minotaur
Mm.
paladin who can and he can heal people and it's pretty fun. Uh,
That's
the
indicative of Wes in real life. He heals me every day, little by little.
yes.
I'm just a broken man, but Wes, he tries his
Yes,
best,
I am.
and I
I
love
am
you for him, man.
actually X's Horcrux. So if you ever need to kill X, you got to
Exactly.
kill me first.
I have a piece of my soul over there. Thank you
Yeah,
for saying that. Oh my
yeah.
god, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. Like, if you want to kill us, you gotta kill me first. Like, dude, I'm almost crying right now, man.
So I'll to not break type or okay.
Mhm.
So what do you think? Should I keep in by type or should I break type
Well,
for this one? Because I don't.
I always do this. I just like, is there something that just grabs your attention? Like, yeah, well, I always play this, but I've always been curious about bleh.
All right, tell you what. I'll be the
What is that
best
bleh?
possible healer that I can be. I'll pick cleric.
Ooh, cleric. Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
straight up healing.
yeah.
I mean,
They're
funny.
very good healers.
Yeah, I have a question. Can blood hunters be healers? Like, I curse you to be internally healthy or something like that?
Not really. Not very effectively. But
Uh-huh.
you can more or less make a kind of a you can kind of make a healer warlock in a way.
Interesting.
But it's not that good. But it's if you want to do that, it's pretty fun. Um,
Okay.
do you want me to try to do that?
Uh, Up to you, my friend. I wanted you to do something that you think would be fun.
All right, I'll just do cleric then. I'm picking cleric.
All right. Cool, cool.
So
Hmm. Well, if we did healer, then I guess in this world we are some traveling together, right? So with that in mind, who would a cleric travel along with?
yeah.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
cleric can be anybody. They have faith, but they don't necessarily need to be like a full on priest. They can just
Oh,
be.
okay.
We can make our backstories whatever we want them to be. That's the cool thing about D&D.
Gotcha. Man, like I have this like if you go like fully pious, like super hard anally like religious, that'd be pretty hilarious. Every time I make something like just randomly weird, it's like, you going to hell, bitch.
I'm
Uh,
kind of playing my paladin that way because we have a rogue in the party that he doesn't get along with too well.
oh,
It's pretty
really?
funny. Yeah.
A rogue. Very nice. Well, let's see. A cleric. I'm trying to do like a character that's like a compliment to yours. So cleric usually pious, he heal. So what's the person that kind of just like fucks shit up? It's just like kind of not too good, not going with a rule. So that's probably not a
Well,
monk. So monk's probably
your alignment can be whatever you want. We're just picking your abilities basically right now, so
right.
you can
Yeah.
kind of make that whatever you want. If you want to be a
Actually,
good beat 'em up character, fighters and barbarians are always a good idea. If you want to
right.
still have spells and do that, fuck it, pick a paladin. You'll have some spells and you'll be able to fight really well.
I just had this thought and it totally makes sense right now. If I'm a blood hunter and I'm just cutting the shit out of myself, like to use my blood, a cleric would be like the perfect partner to
Yeah,
just heal me up.
I'll just be
Yo, I'm gonna do
around
a
to
blood
say,
hunter.
all right, let's make a blood hunter
Yeah.
then. So
All right.
click that, click add class.
I don't need to do any of the.
No, we'll figure that out in a second here.
Hmm.
So
All
just
right, great.
so just click add class,
Class.
and
Okay,
then go over in the level. Just put it to 3.
mhm. Okay, level 3. Un, deux, trois. That is French for 3. I
And
took 3 years of French and that's all I remember. All right.
and then we're just gonna go back to race really quick on the top.
Okay. Well, now we come to the real politically charged question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Instead of having all sources there, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go
Uh,
down to player's handbook just to keep things a little bit easier.
Leia.
Yeah.
Play.
And we're just going
Apple
to create a
juice.
really easy, simplified character. When we create, maybe we'll do this again and we'll go to different races, which would be kind of fun.
Uh-huh.
But for now, I'm going to go with the player's handbook, which is what most people have access to.
All right, I like that. Very straightforward. I have no
Yeah,
idea what the rest of them. The Turtle package. It's
yeah,
spelled
yeah.
Turtle.
There's a
Duh.
race called Turtles, and they're turtle people. It's really cool.
But do they like turtles?
I'm assuming they do. They unless they're all
I
a
like
bunch of
turtles.
self-hating assholes, which I guess is possible. But
It's possible. And if I'm a turtle, I might hate myself. I don't know, man. I don't know what it's like to be a turtle. But like when you see something else just like outrun you, or when there's a story about a rabbit like and you racing and you actually win, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so surprised." It's like I'd be a little sad.
all right, so this is this time you get to pick your race, and this is kind of when your character really starts. I think, in my opinion, really starts becoming more who they are. So you have humans. You got your elves. You have gnomes, dragonborn, which are really cool. They're just dragon people. You got dwarves.
Okay.
We could do the gnome barbarian, like MP6 was saying earlier. We have half elves and half orcs, which are exactly what they sound like. They have a human parent and an elf or orc parent, which is pretty cool.
I thought they were just like elf from the bottom, like from the top up.
No.
Like, they have no leg. Like something happened and now they're just half an elf.
And then you have half, not to be confused with the halflings, which are basically hobbits.
Like find my cousin whose name is Ling and then cut her in half.
Okay.
Or him. Yeah. I'm sticking with that joke.
And then we have boring ass humans.
I think I might be that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
Yeah. You want
And then-
to stand? You want to throw down, bro? Boring ass human.
And then we got tieflings, which are devil people, and they're pretty
Devil
cool.
people?
Yeah. They're pretty.
Wow.
If you actually click on them, they got kind of cool art. They got horns
let me
and
see that.
like spiked tails. They're one of
This
my
isn't
favorite.
a trick, right?
Just
like,
click-
You're not
no,
trying
no,
to
no,
give me
no.
a click on tieflings
No, you
and
can-
then, like boom, that's your character. You can't.
No,
change
you
it.
can cancel it. It's fine.
Ooh, wow! Look at the eyebrows on them. Holy
Yeah,
shit,
they're
look at
horns. They're horns, actually. Yeah.
that. Are they horns?
Yeah.
Wow. They go sideways, huh? It's like handlebars. Ooh, that might come in handy. Like, I bet they have like really crazy sexual intercourse because they'll just grab that like fucking handlebars on a motorcycle. And just yeah. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
So no, on the account of that. So they're.
And then you have not really sure how this made it in here, but you have a variant Azamar, which are the opposite. They're angel people. Not really sure how they ended up in here because they're not.
Yeah.
Or maybe they are in the player's handbook.
It's like Thanos with a soul patch.
They're basically, so the difference is that tieflings normally have one human and one like fiendish parent. Or they actually, it's possible that they have like infernal blood in their bloodlines, so they could be born from just two human parents. And Azamar is the same thing, except with celestials or angels.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Well, angels are boring. Like you can't do anything bad.
I've never played
yeah.
I haven't played an Azamar yet, but I've always and they're not my favorite race just because I just don't like much of their abilities. But I played Tiefling once, and that was really fun. Tieflings are really cool.
What you got this time though? What you thinking? Because I've already picked human variant. What is that?
Human variant. You actually normally with a regular human you would just get +1 to all your ability scores, which we're going to decide in a little bit. But with a human variant, you get +1 to just 2 ability scores of your choice, and you get an extra proficiency in a tool set, and you get a feat. And getting a feat is pretty fucking powerful.
Usually 2 feats necessary, but like I guess
like feat as in like an achievement or a skill.
Oh, I thought you meant like Blackbeard, like the pirate. Okay, shit, because he was pretty powerful.
How do you get Blackbeard from feat?
Well, he only has one of them, right? And you're like, you only get one feat.
Okay, no.
he's sort of a
No, I wouldn't.
human.
This is going to be an arduous process. We're trying. I have more incentive to get this done in under an hour now.
Try your best, my friend. I'm a challenge.
I think I'm going to pick just because I've never made one, and MP6 said gnome earlier. I think I'm going to make a gnome cleric, even though it's not really viable for my particular class that I'm picking. I think it would
It's
be
cool.
kind of fun.
It's the little gnome that could, you know, like everyone in the race is like, hey, don't be a dumbass and be a cleric. But it's like, no, you know what? I'm gonna be a cleric because that's my dream, mom and dad. I'm gonna chase my dreams. And then he's the gnome that could, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking at variant human. It says +1 to all ability scores and
It's
extra
that
rank.
it's so there's some stuff on D&D that's not quite D&D Beyond that's not quite correct. But if you choose that race,
They're
you'll
wrong.
see that you'll see the options you actually have.
Okay, so what's their shtick? Like, why are they a variant human? Like,
So um this is where it gets kind of fucky, but in classic regular D&D, according to the
no,
player's handbook, there's like the regular humans. I can't remember the exact continent, but basically human normal humans are like the regular Europeans,
right.
and then the variants are everybody else.
Oh, so like, well, of course I'm gonna create a variant then
Yeah.
because my configuration is fuck. All right, great, great, great.
So
Let's see. All right,
just click choose
languages,
race, and then you can
reg.
go ahead and pick kind of some stuff that you got. Don't do the
Ooh, okay,
ability
name.
score increase yet, because we're gonna choose our ability scores later.
Great. Okay, should I just leave all this for later then?
No, you can decide like your language and your skills and your feat. Actually, no. Well, yeah, you're right. We should go ahead
Just
and do that later.
Chinese.
We're gonna hop around a little bit here.
Yeah. All right, great, great, great. Okay, what's next?
So we're gonna go actually to abilities just to get this part over with,
Abilitas. Okay, all right.
and we're gonna go with we're gonna do point buy, actually.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, point bye. Sounds good.
So what this is going to do is going to put all your scores at 8, and then you have 27 points to make your scores as whatever you want.
Scorgy.
And you're playing a blood hunter,
Yes, blood hunting human variant.
and if I remember correctly, blood hunters you're going to want a lot of constitution, and you're going to want a lot of intelligence. So if you had to make two
Gotcha.
scores higher, it would be that. And remember, you
Okay.
can increase those by either one of those or whatever one you want by an additional one when we go back to your human variant page.
Gotcha. And I realize, like, if you're in real life, though, putting points in intelligence and then charisma, like, nothing else is probably the best way to go. Like, definitely negative wisdom points. Like, that's what makes it in life, bro. Okay, so let's see. So strength, dexterity, we'll just, like, I guess not worry about those for now. And then constitution, all that. Okay, so
So
obviously I
yeah,
want a lot of constitution because I'll be cutting myself quite a bit.
yeah. So making that
So
high is a good idea, as well as intelligence because your spell stuff and your some of your attacks will be based off of your intelligence score.
all right, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I add points over here?
So no, it's in the drop down. It's actually just going to be pointing. You can't see. It's just going to be in the drop down menu. Click that.
Yeah.
Click
Okay.
that,
Constitution.
and then you just pick some of those, and
Ah.
it'll subtract your points from the 27 out of 27 there.
Okay. Well, let
Um,
me put 4 points in that
Okay.
for now, and then intelligence. Obviously, gonna put pretty. Well, it's very important, right?
Yeah, intelligence
For
and constitution are very important for your class.
okay. Well, actually, yeah. Let me do 7 for both of these then.
So keep in mind, because you can add a +1 to two of these,
Right.
that your modifiers, the pluses that you see next to your constitution, you see the +1 there.
Yeah.
That
Yes, yes.
changes every 2 points.
Ooh.
So what you can do is you can actually make it so your con is something like 13, and then make it an extra 1, so it's 14, so you get a +2 in that if you wanted to,
Right. All right.
without actually using all your points to get to 14.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And that can balance this out. They'll both be 13 right here.
So the way I did it, clerics are
Right.
you should with a cleric you should probably have good wisdom and
Okay, that makes sense.
good wisdom and
Healed.
constitution, but I picked a
Right,
gnome,
healed right
and
people.
they only get a +2 to intelligence. They don't get pluses
Ooh.
to anything else. So I'm just
I only
I
have
kind of
+1, though.
screwed myself with that, which is why this is a funny choice. But I'm
Hey,
gonna
yeah.
do it anyway.
Because you're a strong, independent woman, dude. Like you make
Yeah.
your own choices. Don't listen to mom and dad.
So I'm gonna
Alright,
put 15 in my wisdom.
Okay, all right, very wise. I'm gonna put 0 in there because you already put a line there.
I'm gonna play a faithful person who preaches a lot, so I'll put 12 in charisma.
Very nice, very nice.
And I'm probably gonna, let's see, let's do. Should I be a strength based or a dexterity based?
As a
By the way,
gnome, definitely strength based, bro.
so strength based and dexterity based, or depend on what kind of like physical attacks you want to do. If you're going to be
Right.
if you're going to be firing with like a crossbow or a longbow or something like that, then you want to have higher dexterity. If you're going to be using
Hmm.
swords or anything melee attack, anything with a melee
Hmm.
attack, you're going to use strength.
Okay, but
So
like a medium length sword that would still go in strength and not dexterity, because usually
um,
dexterity gives you
or
more
yeah,
like
usually
critical.
well, so it depends.
No.
For certain weapons like a rapier, you can make that a dex based weapon, so you can absolutely
Uh,
put more in dex, and you can kind of leave strength as being 8.
uh-huh. But like if I wanted just a straight sword, regular straight sword,
Like, well, so
that would
there's
be strength, right?
so here's where the kind of creativity comes in with D&D 5th edition, which is what we're playing, is that
Uh,
there's very few different kinds of weapons, but you can kind
mhm.
of flavor them any way you want.
Okay.
So you can, so a rapier would make more sense for you to have like in terms of like stats, but you can say the rapier is like anything you want, more or less,
Hmm.
assuming your dungeon master is okay with it. I am your dungeon master in this case, and I'm okay with it. So
Yes,
so you
master.
can kind of make it whatever you want for this thing.
So quick question. Basically, like, if I have more dexterity, does that like eventually give me more like higher chance at a critical?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay. Well, in that case,
A
let's go with
crit.
strength.
So a crit on attacks
Right.
makes it so only when you roll a 20 and you actually roll and get a 20 on your d20. That's the
Oh,
only time you crit.
oh,
And that
okay.
has
Okay.
nothing
All
to
right.
do with whether you're a dex or a strength based or cast spells or whatever. It's if you roll a 20
Okay.
on your
I
roll.
get it.
Yeah.
So, like, if I want to have a sword, like damage wise, it makes more sense for me to do strength.
It yeah. If
All
you
right.
want to do well, what kind of do you want to do like a long sword or do you want to do like a great sword or what do you want to do?
Fuck, great sword sounds pretty dope, but it would be really hard cutting myself with like a great sword. Like, what if I slip and I just like take off an arm or something? Uh,
You could just keep it in place and then just run your hand across it really quick.
uh,
It doesn't need to be that
I'm
much blood.
Oh yeah, that's right. My character has high intelligence, so yeah, he would think of that. Smart bitch. All right. Okay. In that case, maybe I should go with some like versatile-ish weapons, like something that's easier to cut myself with. Uh, well, despite the fact that my guy is the guy that uses his own blood, like I'm gonna make him like a very upbeat person. It's like just like cutting your own like skin, and you're like, oh, I'm so happy, the sun's rising today. Because yeah, it's otherwise it's too sad. All right. I, uh, I feel like I'm trying to make Loki or some shit. Actually, I kind of want to put points in dexterity and then like use maybe use like a shorter sword, like a midway between a dagger and a sword.
You want a short sword.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
short sword, like Sting.
Yeah.
This is
You
Sting.
there is a
You've
weapon.
seen it before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Go.
There is a weapon called a short sword.
Okay.
So you can, and that is a dex based. That could be if you wanted it to be. Some weapons you can use either dex or strength, and a short sword is one of those.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
Actually, I'm not sure
Oh,
if that's one, but I know for sure it's a dex one. I'm not sure if it's actually both. I can't remember.
ooh.
Yeah. So if you want to
Okay.
have a short sword, use dexterity.
All right, all right. I'm actually thinking like closer to daggers now because like I'm having this image of just like
Also
putting your blood
dexterity.
on daggers. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking just like take out a dagger, cut yourself with it, and then just like throw that shit at your enemy, and they'll get it like AIDS. Like I don't know how to put spells on it.
Oh
Like
my
it's just
god,
instant
dude.
got AIDS. All right, great. That's great. That's great. Like I'm putting points in dexterity. Uh, how many points? Let's see. Probably put like 7 points in there.
All
And
right.
then I also want my guy to be just very charismatic, so I want to dump the rest of it in charisma.
All right. Sounds good. I
I
like.
want to be able to go.
So you actually have 1 point left, and you can put that into something.
Um, okay, dexterity is much null and void. Wisdom or strength, man? What's more important to a man?
At this point, you're bad at both, and putting 1 point in either of those isn't going to matter. If you want your character
Right.
to be a little bit better, possibly at seeing things, do wisdom. I would put wisdom if you had like 1 point left. Just do
But like,
wisdom.
I kind of want him to be like this charismatic idiot, though. Like, you know, he just misses really obvious things like he
Oh,
still
okay.
has charisma to carry through, like a
So
Donald Trump sort of guy.
so he knows
So
a
I
lot, but he doesn't. Okay, then do strength. Then if you want, all right, do it.
yeah, strength.
All
I
right,
want to be
sounds
a
good.
happy idiot.
I won't
Yeah,
stop you.
all
So your final scores, and normally we would roll, but because you don't have dice, we're gonna do this a little bit differently.
right. You can roll my dice for me any day.
Well, maybe we'll do that next time. So your final
All right.
scores, just scroll up for me so I can see. Your strength is 9, dexterity 14, constitution 13, intelligence 13, wisdom 8, and charisma 15. All right.
Yeah,
So
that's where it is, man.
my final ones using the same rule set as you are strength at 13, dexterity at 8, constitution at 15, intelligence at 8, wisdom
Yeah,
at 15, and charisma at
right.
12. Excuse me.
Gotcha. It's like the gnome just got way higher strength than I do. If I were to pick a fight, gnome just slaps my shit.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting character.
Great, 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 great. A strength
So
gnome, but also healed.
now,
Alright, this sounds like
if we go back to race with you, I don't have to pick
here we
anything,
go.
but you sure do. Now you
All
can
right.
pick your ability scores. You could pick a
All right,
language.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick your language first, and I'll kind of tell you what they are
Um,
if you have questions.
Before you do, let me just look at everything and just like if there's anything that kind of just grabs my eyes, let me check it out.
You already speak Common, which is basically whatever is the normal
The
speaking
common
language
tongue. Ooh.
of your group.
Okay, I have a question. So if I
Mhm.
spoke common, then I spoke under common, technically I would speak every single language, right?
No.
Because well, what's under common? Because there's common,
Undercommon.
there's not.
Undercommon is like the language of of the people who live in the Underdark. So
Oh,
it's like Drow, the Dark Elves, and Duragar, which are like spooky night dwarves. It's Undercommon is used a lot in like Drow society and people who worship Lolth, the Spider Queen.
okay, gotcha. Okay, something else got my eye, and it's deep speech. Like, is that just like talk common down, but it's
So
super deep?
deep
Hey,
deep
how you
speak
doing?
deep speech is the language of the Deep Ones, also known as the Illithids, which are basically the Lovecraftian Cthulhu monsters.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
and it's not real,
Is that?
and it's more of like a psychic thing.
Oh,
But you can't, as a human, you don't have psychic abilities, so you can only like really understand it. But speaking
oh,
it
we
doesn't
can't
really
speak it.
work. I know
Gotcha.
Greg and I. Well, Greg came up with it. I'm not sure, but he's the one who informed me of it. But if you try to speak deep speech, it just comes out as like this sputtering like
That's
because you're
fucking
trying to speak
beautiful.
with tentacles on your mouth. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. Is there like a vampire language in here?
go scroll up. No.
Abyssal, celestial, Dalker? Because
So
I'm thinking this guy cuts himself, so like
So
vampire.
if you wanted to be kind of like a cult, Infernal is the language of the Tieflings, the devil people, and there's also
Ooh.
Abyssal, which is the language of like all the demons of the nine hells, stuff like that.
Sounds fun. I mean that goes with a curse and everything, right?
Yeah. And then you have like a halfling and gnomish and elvish stuff like that.
Nah, halflings are like no one cares about halflings, bro. One day they might save Middle Earth, but right now no one cares about them. Okay, so I'll do Abyssal then.
Okay.
Demon
Cool.
speak. All right, cool. I can summon those guys, right? Like I can like that has something to do with curses and shit.
There's not really that kind of thing you're thinking of. If you want to do more summon stuff, you should probably make like a wizard or a sorcerer or something like that,
No,
or a
well,
cleric
it's
even.
just like yeah, I'm thinking like blood magic must have things to do with like demons and
Your
some such, right?
most of your spells, most of the stuff that you do as a blood hunter is more to enhance your already existing like melee attacks.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So like real quick, MP6 has said deep speech is what happens when I deep throat my mic. That's so hot. You should do that.
Do you have
Real
anything?
deep speech, brother.
I'll have to show you a
fucking
video
get
at
it.
some
Like,
point. But
past
yeah.
bro, like we're talking about through the lungs, because I would like to see that, sir. The funny thing about my mic is that it's located on the end of my peak. Okay, just kidding. All right, so I'm thinking, this is celestial, gnomish, man.
Honestly, for the purposes of this video, your language doesn't matter that much.
Oh, that's true. I mean, it does, as a Chinese American who
Well,
has.
think of it.
I'm just kidding.
Well, think of it this
Yeah,
way. I'm going to be speaking Gnomish in common. If you want to like
no.
privately communicate with me, you could know Gnomish.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Here's the thing, though. My character, he doesn't respect gnomes. That's our dynamic, and you're gonna have
Okay,
to like impress
you're,
my
you're
shit.
you're just stuck with me for some reason. Sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. I have this like hatred towards you, like you take it for granted and shit, and then that'll be our dynamic, and then we'll eventually blossom into like a beautiful friendship, like
All right.
sort of like a yeah, like that rom com situation. All right, I'm gonna stick with actually celestial sounds pretty good. I'll just spend my days talking. Oh, that'll be the joke. You're the pious cleric, but I'm the one who can actually talk to God. Yeah, that's it. All right, fuck yes, I'm going
All
with
right.
celestial.
Sounds good. All right. Now, do your ability score increase?
All right, great. So obviously, like we need both of them in charisma, because that's how I roll.
Oh, you're just gonna
Um,
do that? Okay, sounds good. Oh, you can only do
okay.
you can only do
Just,
you can only put 1 point into. You have to do two. Sorry, you have to
okay.
do 1 point in any two.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Not
1 point each in any
lame.
two. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Well, in that case, do intelligence or constitution?
You
I'm gonna
had
do intelligence.
okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say though?
So your con was at 15. So if you put it
Uh,
at if you put your ability right there as Constitution instead, it would move it up to
yeah.
16, which makes it a +3 instead of a +2 modifier. So that means
Oh,
whenever you
gotcha.
roll something that is Constitution based,
Mhm.
which like your health could work,
Right.
whatever your dice roll is, your D20 roll. So you rolled a 17, you would add 3, so it would make it 20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So like a crit, sort of.
No, it's not a
Well,
crit.
here's the
It's
thing
not a
though.
crit.
It's like, oh, it's not a crit.
No.
Okay, okay, but
A
it's
crit
fun.
only happens when you actually roll the die and there's a 20 on your D20.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, actually, like here's the
And that's
thing
only
though.
for
Like
combat. Yeah.
I would go for the Constitution, except my trusty friend, who I also have contempt for, is a cleric that can heal me. So I trust you, buddy.
All right.
Like I
Sounds
trust you
good.
not to abandon
So
me.
you've
I'll just be
based your
believing like
entire
in me all
physical
the time.
form on me being around constantly. I like it.
Exactly, exactly. You're sort of with me because like you're too nice to leave. Because if you do, I'm just gonna like cast a spell and I just die of blood loss. And God wouldn't like that, would it? God's gonna want you to save me, so you're stuck with my bloated ass. All right, all right.
So then you go to
Okay, so
skills, and now you get to pick
acrobat.
what you think you might be good at. So all of your skills are based off of your ability scores. So
Okay.
each one of these skills is in some way related to your strength, dex, con, intelligence, charisma, or whatever the sixth one that I forgot was.
Gotcha. When you get it, it's not important enough. Okay.
So if you just scroll over them and you have something that interests you, tell me and I'll let you
Right.
know what skill it's based off of, which will make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I want to be able to persuade people to do really stupid shit.
So do
Like
persuasion.
just performance. Oh, whoops. Persuasion. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like something real dumb, real dumb. It's like, hey, let me
All right.
smear blood all over you, and we'll see
Yeah.
how that works.
Most DMs don't let you just roll for anything. Like if it's impossible, and they just won't let you roll.
I got you, but you're not most DMs. You're
No,
mind
I do that too. Because there are certain things that just shouldn't happen in the narrative. Most of the time, we'll let you roll, but if you request something ridiculous or impossible, then we
Right.
usually will just be like, no, you can't roll for that.
You're gonna turn down my imagination. What is this fascist Russia? Wait, no, that's not right.
It's mostly a game balance thing. And
Oh,
so
okay, okay, Thanos.
and
Nice to meet you, man.
it's a game balance. No, it's a game balance thing, and so everybody else at the table is having fun. Remember, D&D is not about just one person. It's not about the DM telling the story, or it's not about any one player. It's a collaborative storytelling experience, and
Very communist of you,
everybody's in
Stalin.
it together. Yeah, it's communist, but the good version.
The good version of communism. You sound exactly like Stalin. He had the good version of communism.
Yeah,
too.
because
Okay.
Stalin and the guys who made D&D are obviously the same thing. Feats, this is where it gets
Right.
kind of fun.
Exactly. Ruskia.
So
Alright,
feats make you super powerful, and it basically makes you gives you an edge in some way, in some skill or ability.
including tuck and roll. I
Or
see. That's an important
oh
one.
yeah, tuck and roll is a feat that my friend Catherine made, and
Yeah.
it's basically it works really well for ranged characters.
Just you're super good at like what's your feat? Like what are you known for? It's like tuck and roll, bitch. Respect.
Well, it's not feat in that sense. It's feat in just another ability you have. It's not necessarily like an actual
Oh, okay.
accomplishment.
Can I do lucky?
Yeah, Lucky's really fun. So you've picked
Wait,
Mage Slayer. Lucky, what Lucky
oh,
does is that if you or an opponent or anybody else rolls a d20 and they don't
mm-hmm.
like that result of the d20, then
Right.
you can just re-roll.
Wow.
And
Okay.
you can pick either one, and you can do that 3 times in a long rest. So basically 3 times a day.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. All right, I'll
Yeah,
take that then.
yeah. Lucky's
That's
a
that's
really
less
cool
than
feat.
mine. Yeah, that's more like OP and just like
Oh,
yeah. All
it's
right, I'll
one
take
of the
that.
strongest feats in the game for sure.
All right, all right. I'll be a lucky dumb guy who convinces people to do dumb shit, and then
That's
yeah, and I'll just
most
be lucky
D&D
and get away with it.
characters. Yep.
Awesome, awesome.
All right,
I'm happy to be most of them.
so go to
All right,
go to class,
okay.
and now we get to choose your proficiencies and your curses and your fighting style and your blood hunter order. So actually, before you pick anything else,
Yes.
um, go scroll all the way down and click your blood hunter order, and uh,
Blood Hunter order
yeah,
there. All right.
and then you're gonna pick which one you want, and I'll kind of
Okay,
describe.
Ghost Slayer like a mutant profane soul.
So
Well, ghosts are already dead, so I don't need to slay
yeah,
them
Ghost
like them to like
Slayers
werewolves. Right. Super hairy, some girls are not into that. Mutants are
are
they're just to get discriminated against, yeah.
the
What's your thing?
mutants are very similar to the way a Witcher works in the games.
Oh,
And the
very nice.
profane soul is basically if you secretly want to be a warlock.
Huh.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds a little sad. It's like I'm actually a blood hunter, but
yeah.
like I
Profane.
actually want to be yeah.
Yeah, profane
Like,
soul is not my favorite of these. I think all the other three are way cooler in their own way. But but profane soul does have some kind of cool stuff. I don't know it as well, so that'll be kind of interesting for us to find out what goes on with that one, I guess. But um,
wait, so what's Ghost Slayer? Like, talk to me on that for a bit.
Ghost Slayer is very. I actually don't know the Ghost Slayer as well anymore because it changed sort of recently, and I haven't looked at it since then.
Right. Uh-huh.
But it should. It's more or less what it sounds like. You're a very spiritual and very ethereal being. You're very spooky.
Okay. How about this? I do talk to God through my celestialness, and then I'll just slay ghosts for God. You know,
Yeah.
because God hates ghosts, obviously. Uh,
So minimize that,
uh-huh.
hmm and then go all the way back up again. And
Right.
now you get to pick your proficiencies. So what your
Okay.
proficiencies are is that these are the skills that you're actually like really good at.
Oh, okay. All right.
And you already
Okay.
picked persuasion as one of them, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But these are
Right.
just in addition. You have certain skills as a blood hunter that you can be good at, and you get to pick 3 of those from this list.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Athletic
Well, Arcana. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Arcana is like knowledge about magic.
Uh-huh.
And so it's an intelligence based one, so you'd probably be good at that if you picked that. Um,
Uh, okay. What's how are you really good at religion?
Religion is knowledge about religion.
Okay.
And
Okay. Just like I can quote
yeah,
the scripture, bitch. Yeah. All right.
yeah, and also how
Ooh.
like certain events happened and how religions came to be and stuff like that. Any lore relating
Gotcha.
to religion. So
Um.
I think I automatically have that, or probably
Right.
will choose that as a cleric. It's
Right.
also intelligence based, so it's something you'd probably be pretty good at.
Gotcha. Was your intelligence point higher than mine? Do you remember?
My intelligence, no, it's gonna end up being 10 when all is said and done.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of scenarios where like you're the pious one, but somehow I know more about religion, and that just annoys the fuck out
that
of
would
me.
be
You know?
really funny. So go
Yeah,
ahead
that would
and
be
pick
good.
religion. Yeah, you could pick
Okay, I'm
religion.
gonna pick religion.
Yeah.
Pick religion. I just want to be able to like debate
So
about that
so
shit. Okay.
what? Well, here's so your proficiency bonus gets better as you level up. When you're
Uh-huh.
when we're only level 3, so our proficiency
Hmm.
bonus is +2. And what
All
you
right.
do when you're proficient in something is when you roll a d20, say you had to know something about religion, I would ask you to roll a d20, and you would
Hmm.
add your proficiency bonus, which is +2, plus whatever
Right.
modifier you had in that skill already.
Hmm.
So your intelligence is 14, I think, which is also +2. So you actually get a
Right.
+4 to whatever roll you make based on intelligence.
Very nice. So,
So
like,
if
if we ever have like an argument about God, I'll just like override. I'll use my knowledge of religion to like disprove God or something, and that's gonna
that's
that might piss your guy off.
that's not really what that skill is for. That
Oh,
skill
okay.
is more for if you know more about religion or not.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'll still abuse that somehow, though.
yeah.
I don't. I'll figure out a way.
So
Don't worry.
say you rolled an 11 on a religion check. Your actual score for the roll would be 15.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, well, all right, cool, cool, cool. I mean, this is the religion is more for my guy's backstory. Like, I'll just know about it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, okay, so that's number one. And then number two, let's see. Um,
So
okay,
if you want to know a little bit about some of these, just let me know.
okay, gotcha. I'm thinking I'll also be like a history buff.
Okay.
Like, if I really need to like pull out the stops to like
You're
like
just
get
gonna know,
you
you're gonna know a lot of shit, but you're not gonna be very
yeah,
street smart. I like it.
yeah. That's exactly it. Now I get in dumb situations, but like, hey, it's okay because you're there to patch me up.
All right, if you want to
So
keep going down that path, I'd just say pick Arcana as your last one. Then,
it's just a magic, right?
yeah,
Lot
with a
of magic
lot.
shit.
So you basically have like most of the lore skills.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
think the
Well,
only one
actually, I
you're
was thinking, like, because my guy is like someone who uses magic, I want him to be like slightly bad at that. Like he just does shit, but he doesn't know what to do, so like he almost kills himself every time. Would survival help me, like in terms of not dying?
so survival is a wisdom based skill, and your character
Right,
is not very good at wisdom.
right.
So
So I also
you
not be good at survival, right?
so it'll actually cancel out because you have a minus. I think no, you only have a -1, so you'll have a +1 to that. But
Okay, it'll just cancel out.
survival is basically to help you like forage for food in the wild, or to follow tracks, or to not be tracked.
Right.
So
What's insightful? What's insight?
insight is another wisdom based one, and it's basically how good you are at reading people.
Oh.
Yeah,
So basically, I'll just like get that canceled out as well. Like I'll be
yeah,
able to sort of.
yeah.
Fuck.
Investigation is like, looking into stuff. Acrobatics is more like flippity flappities, and athletics is like strength based. Like how well can you lift? Do you even hoist? Doth thou even hoist, bro?
Uh, you got me there, man. Okay, well, like I feel like my guy's coming off as a little bit of like a frat boy jock, so like I'll pick us.
All right, so that's also gonna cancel out, just so you know. But all right,
Wait,
sounds good.
I thought that was strength. Wait,
Yeah,
oh, I'm not.
but
Strength.
your strength isn't good enough to go into the next modifier, so it's gonna be the same as your survival or insight.
So if I do like acrobatics, though, does that go into dexterity?
Acrobatics is dexterity. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna flip around while I like insult God or some shit.
All
So you
right.
can hit me. All right.
All right. So this is okay. So if you this is we're gonna go ahead and read your abilities here. So if you go to Hunter's Bane,
Ooh, okay.
and we can just read that together. Beginning at first level, you have survived the Hunter's Bane, a dangerous, long-guarded ritual that alters your life's blood, forever binding you to darkness and honing your senses against it. You have advantage
Ooh.
on Wisdom, survival checks to track Fae, fiends, or undead,
Okay.
as well as
There goes wisdom.
as well as on Intelligence ability checks to recall information about them. Which is
Right.
getting advantage on something just forever is really a cool thing. Even if it is
This is
that
cool.
specific, it's really cool.
Okay. All right, all right, cool.
Because the advantage means you roll twice and then you take the highest result.
Ooh, very nice. It's
And
like cheating, but
yeah,
with
and
rules.
disadvantage is the opposite.
I
The
see.
hunter's bane also empowers your body to control and shape himacraft magic.
Hemocraft.
Yeah,
Ooh.
blood magic.
Okay.
Using your own blood and life essence to fuel your abilities. Some of your features
That's
require your target to make a saving throw to resist the feature's effects. The saving throw DC is calculated as follows: 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier. So that's where your high
Right.
intelligence is going to help you out, because if you have an ability, which you will once we get into your blood curses and blood maledicts,
Right.
that will force an enemy of yours to make something called a saving throw, and what they have to do is beat your save DC, which is low at first because we're low level, and that's just what's going to happen.
Okay.
But it's 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier, so I think for you it's going to be 12. So if I rolled and I get I literally just rolled a natural 20, but if I rolled and got a 3, I would fail that and your
Too
effect
bad it
would take
didn't
place.
count.
I literally just got a natural 20. Like
You should have saved it, man. You should
Yeah.
have saved it for the actual thing. Now you're never gonna roll 20 again. That was
Yeah,
the last
exactly.
one.
I screwed myself. That's okay. I like my players to
Played
do
it.
well anyway. Um,
Alright.
so,
Oh, because you're the DM. Yeah.
yeah, I like being a DM. Anyway, so if you go to Blood Maledict,
Ooh, Black Maledict.
mm-hmm.
Why don't you maledict my balls?
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
At first level, you gain the ability to channel and sometimes sacrifice a part of your vital essence to curse and manipulate creatures through Himacraft magic.
right.
You gain one blood curse of your choice, detailed in the blood curses section at the end of this class's description. Or right here, because we're not reading an actual book. You learn one additional blood curse of your choice, and you can choose one of the blood curses you know, and replace it with another blood curse at 6th, 10th, 14th, and 18th level, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
And these are basically yeah, and these are basically just things that can like boost your attacks and like help you like control the battlefield with your adventuring party.
I'm down with that.
When you choose your blood maledict, you choose which curse you invoke, because there's two versions. There's I can't remember what they're called, but while invoking a blood curse, but before it affects the target, you can choose to amplify the curse by losing a number of hit points equal to one roll of your Hemocraft die, as shown in the Hemocraft die column of the Blood to Hunter table, which I believe is just a 1d4 right now for you.
It's like I hurt myself and thereby hurt you. I
yeah,
like that.
it's really cool. And you can choose not to do that every time. You can just have the standard curse, but if you really want to make it a baller curse, if you know what I mean.
I want to fuck this guy up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start cutting myself.
If you really want to curse that motherfucker, then you can amplify it. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
hell yeah.
If we go into your blood curses now, we don't have to worry about the rest of that.
All right.
You can use that. You can use it a certain amount of times. So these are all the blood curses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like curse of the anxious. Ooh, that just sounds like the most terrifying curse right there. I was like, curse you to be anxious.
Okay, so let's read that one since it caught your attention. As a bonus action, you magnify the adrenaline in the body of a creature within 30 feet of you, making them susceptible to forceful influence. Until the end of your next turn, all creatures have advantage on charisma or intimidation checks directed at the target creature. So basically, it's easier to frighten that specific creature, which is pretty cool.
Okay, I give people anxiety. Wow,
yeah.
that's
it's pretty spooky. And the amplified version of it is the next wisdom saving throw the target makes before this curse ends has disadvantage. Once you've amplified this blood curse, you must finish a long rest before you can amplify it again. So you can only use it once a day, basically.
Okay, no problem. All right. The binding. Ooh, that sounds sexy, like S&M shit. All right.
As a bonus action, you can attempt to bind a creature you can see within 30 feet of you that is no more than one size larger than you. You're a medium-sized creature. The target must succeed.
Shows what you know. I'm a small.
The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or have their speed be reduced to 0, and they can't use reactions until the end of their next turn.
Okay, cool. All right.
A reaction is a reaction is something that basically occurs not on their turn, but they can do. So if you get hit by something, or if someone's walking away from you, one reaction is you can use an opportunity attack to hit them as they run away. But if you use this, they can't do that. The amplified version of this is the curse. Where'd it go? The curse lasts for 1 minute. Oh. Stop moving the screen.
I thought you were reading yours for some reason.
No, I'm reading yours. I don't have that on mine. This curse lasts for 1 minute, and at the end of each... No, hang on. Sorry. This curse lasts for 1 minute, and at the... This curse lasts for 1 minute and can affect a creature regardless of their size. At the end of each of its turns, the cursed creature can make another strength saving throw. On a success, the curse ends. Okay. So, being able to keep something at 0 speed, regardless of size, is incredibly overpowered if you can do it correctly. Because it basically means you can do it to like a kraken or a Tarrasque or a dragon if they fail the initial strength saving throw, which is going to be more difficult because they're a stronger creature, but still, it's pretty crazy.
Okay, gotcha. Or my friend the gnome and just watch him squirm for a while. It's like he's stronger than I am. It's just like, I can't move. I can't reach you because my arms are so short. Yeah. All right.
All right.
stand 1 inch away, like, yeah, you can hit me. All right. Okay. So,
Any other ones grabbing your eye?
The what?
Any other of the blood
Oh,
curses grabbing your eye?
actually, you know what? So I have to pick one, right?
Yeah, you have to pick one for this level. Yeah.
Oh, actually, let me do this. Let me go down the names and see which one catches my eye. Okay, bloated agony, exorcist, exposure. Like, do you have to like flash people once you curse with this? Like, uncontrollably flashing people.
When
you get canceled by society because that's inappropriate. That's technically rape.
Yeah, that's what happens now. We don't need to read that
Yeah.
one. That's what happens in my campaign.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
great. Okay, Blood Curse to the eyelids. Yeah, exactly. I won't just kill them like their life, but I'll kill them on the social media, which is worse than death.
Mhm.
Okay, Curse of the Islands. Fallen
It's a slow,
Puppet,
sad death.
Exactly, right? You lose your jobs and everything. Like, lose your pension, and like, that's worse than death, man. Bottom Soul Eater.
Now, some of these you won't be able to pick because you're not the right level or you're not the right subclass.
Okay, gotcha.
But most of these you have access to.
All right. So quick question on the anxious bit. So like, basically, we're trying to like convince somebody or something. Can I cast this curse on them, and then like whoever tries to convince them will just have an easier time of it?
It's intimidation. So yeah, if you're intimidating someone with like force, trying to persuade them with force or threat of violence or something like that, then yeah, it would work on them against that.
All right. Well, I have quite high charisma, and like my guy cuts himself a lot, and like he also has a scary ass gnome around him with huge strengths. So I think that'll work. All right, let's go with the Blood Curse of the Anxious.
Okay, so go ahead and scroll all the way down. I think you can pick it at the very bottom here.
And I think we all know with today's society that anxiety really is the #1 killer.
All right, so we got that. We got that one. Now we could now we could pick your fighting style, which is pretty fun.
Ooh, stand there and kick.
So if you look at, I can't remember what you get as a blood. Okay, so you have a few options here. You have archery, self-explanatory. Dueling, which is basically dueling, which is basically a single weapon fighting, and you can use dueling with either just one sword in one hand or one weapon in one hand, or you can have a weapon in one hand and a shield in the other.
Right. Okay. I'm thinking like multiple daggers, like for myself. But
then you want 2-weapon fighting.
Okay, all right. I also want to be able to throw them eventually.
Like, normally when you dual wield weapons, you can if you attack with one, then you can attack with the other one as like a bonus action. But your damage for the second attack, you don't add any modifiers. With your particular fighting style, if you pick 2-weapon fighting, you do add your modifiers for the second attack. So it just basically makes you better at that. Yeah.
I do like that. Yeah, first one gives you A's, and the second one just cuts it. Just ends all the injuries there. Yeah. All right, cool.
And then Crimson Right, this is where the cutting yourself is going to really come in play. So at second level, you learn to invoke the right of Himicraft within your weapon at the cost of your own vitality. Choose one right from the Primal Rights list to learn. As a bonus action, you can activate a Crimson Right on a single weapon with the elemental energy of a known right of your choice that lasts until you finish a short or long rest. If you aren't holding the weapon at the end of your turn, or if you aren't holding the weapon at the end of your turn. When you activate a right, you lose a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your Himicraft die, as shown in the Himicraft die column in the Bloodhunter table. For the duration, attacks from this weapon deal an additional 1d4 damage of the chosen right's type. Right. This damage is magical and increases as you gain levels as a Bloodhunter, as shown in the Himicraft die column of the Bloodhunter table. A weapon can only hold a single active right at a time. But you can definitely have both daggers going if you really wanted to.
Hell yeah. Of course I would.
So you get to choose, at level 1, you get to choose whether this right damage is going to be fire damage, cold damage, or lightning damage.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm going to go with the A's blood thing, it should burn. Like, you go, this blood burns me. Herpes.
All right, go ahead and choose fire.
Burning sensation. Okay, definitely fire for the first one. My blood burns. So does gonorrhea. So if you have that, make sure you get it checked. Thank you to all 7 people watching. So that's a little bit of a life lesson for you. Okay, the second one, let's see.
You can't choose a second one yet. You don't get one until you get to level 6, I think, or level 7. It looks like.
Save that for later. Okay, all right. And then, what's next?
So scroll down really quick, and go to Rite of the Dawn. Just so you can see your other abilities. So when you join this order at 3rd level, this is because you joined the Order of the Ghost Slayer.
Okay.
You get the Rite of the Dawn, so you said so. It basically is your right damage is
Uh-huh.
radiant damage. While the right is active, you gain the following benefits. So instead,
Okay.
your damage is actually going to be radiant or light damage.
Ooh, all
Your
right.
weapon sheds bright light out to a radius of 20 feet. You have resistance to necrotic damage, and
Okay.
your weapon deals one additional Hemocraft die of right damage when you hit an undead. So
Ooh, very
if we're
nice.
fighting zombies or ghosts or skeletons or lich, then you're going to deal extra damage to anything undead, which is really cool.
Very nice. Also, my weapon can like act as a flashlight, like
Hmm.
to 20 feet, which is pretty helpful, man.
Yeah,
It's like
no,
Sting. Holy shit! I'm literally having like a bunch of stings in both my hands.
it's really nice. Yeah, it's a pretty
All
cool
right.
ability. And then
All right. Cool. Cool.
then
Cool.
go to Curse Specialist.
Let's do this. All right. All right.
Beginning at third level, your Ancient Order teaches advanced mastery over blood curses. You gain an additional use of your Blood Maledict feature. In addition, your
Right.
blood curses can target any creature, whether it has blood or not. And
Oh, so
that is
it's like
really cool because normally you can
nice.
only target creatures that have blood, but this means you
Hmm.
can attack things that are constructs like suits of armor or machines,
Nice.
or you can attack things, or you can attack ghosts with it, which is why it's called the Ghost Slayer order.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah,
I like it. I
yeah,
like it. That which is not alive.
yeah.
How do you kill that which has no life? Curse specialist.
The sword of 1,000 truths. All
Behold.
right. Well, on I really thought we were going to be able to do this in an hour, but I forgot how long D&D character creation takes. So we're actually
Okay.
going to go ahead
I'm
and
having
call
fun.
it for this particular session. Do we have anybody else who was talking to us really quick that we can answer some questions, X?
Only the window licker MP6 and another window licker, but I think MP6 really just like put a lot of value into this particular thing, especially when they said, or is what happens when I deep throat my mic. Because I'll be honest, the thought of you deep throating a mic is what kept me going through this whole thing, and I just want to thank you from the depth of my heart. You know that. Thank you. Thank you
Means a
so
lot,
much.
MP6. Means a lot.
It really
Um,
does. It really does. Yeah.
so we're going to call it right here, and
Mhm.
um,
We can continue this on Thursday.
yeah, we can go ahead and if we want to
If you're
continue
okay
on
with that.
Thursday, or we can continue it on
Right.
some other day. Hang on, I'm just going to try to get it. So we
Right.
are
Or
back.
next Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or next Monday. We are going to be back on camera in a second here. I know it looks kind of funny for those watching. Okay, now we're good. But what do you think of your D&D experience so far, X?
I'm having a lot of fun. I mean, the one thing is that there's a lot of versatility. A lot of video games I play, and I play a reasonable amount. You're sort of cut into these things, and like if you want to do something that's not built into the game, you can. But what's good here is I got my main DM over here, West Mantooth, and it's awesome to talk through this and like to talk through like what I want to do and like how it relates to another character, especially because I can build my character around annoying one person. So like the whole reason for this Blood Hunter's existence is to annoy like a very little gnome who's all they're trying to do is try to heal this Blood Hunter,
Yeah.
but you just won't let him. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
Wait until next time when we get to like picking our backstories and stuff like that.
Ooh,
That's when That's when the character creation really starts to unfold. You get to pick
I
personality traits and flaws and stuff like that. It's really fun.
I'm very much looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
no, I think
Yeah.
it'll be a lot of fun. D&D, you're right. D&D is really cool, especially in that way. But especially fifth
Mm.
edition, which is the one we're playing, is designed to be really open and really free and really accessible.
Nice edition five.
So yeah, you're really there's rules there, and there's a lot of rules, but
Mhm.
there aren't really many rules that really restrict you having fun, and they're most of the time you can kind of find your way around rules or just break them anyway, just to have more fun. I think
I know
D and
you'll
D.
let me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should have obeyed certain rules, but there are certain ones that I think if you fall to the letter, then you're actually impeding fun. But we'll get into that in a different discussion.
Yeah.
X, do you have anything else to say before we close out?
No, but thank you for this experience. I'm actually thinking. So this campaign is created by Wes, and I'm actually looking forward to maybe like creating, like we together create something dedicated to D&D. Maybe we'll bring some other people on
Yeah.
board, and maybe we'll do live streams dedicated just to D&D, and maybe we'll do that on either Monday or Thursday. I don't know. I just want to go and ask the like audience, like, what do you think is a better day to do things like this?
If we do
fun things
this,
more beginning or end of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, if we do something
Actually,
like this, it's going to be a while before we can do it, just because it requires a
yeah.
lot of setup. But it is
Mhm.
something that we definitely want to do in the future.
All right, yeah,
So,
because this guy is the D&D whiz man, and he knows a lot, and it's a really fun game. That yeah, look at those figurines. You painted those yourself. It's
yeah, a
amazing,
solid
dude.
most of those I painted by myself.
Ooh, I saw the most. You thought it was all of them. You lied to me. I
No,
take back
there's
every
one or
compliment.
two that are pre-painted, but
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, so thank
you
you very
lied to
much
me.
for tuning into this episode of Oral Exposure. We liked it was fun to relax a little bit more for this one, and just have some fun with my friends. So, thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you next time on Oral Exposure.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.